Alright, so I thought I'd run through a video how I've set up my Sanwa M17 for tuning. There's a couple of ways of doing it. I use this as I have a model, and then I'll have 5 R modes in that model, so it gives me 5 different tunes. I don't necessarily change tunes during run, but I just have a model now where I can go to a particular situation or a particular track and have 5 tunes in that setting. So I'll go through. First thing I'll do is I'll need to set up my R mode. So initialize R mode. So at the moment there's nothing at the top here. That's where you'll see the R mode. So I'll go into my system and R mode. And what I'll do is I'll turn it on. And the other thing, what we're in at the moment is steering. So this little box here says we're in steering. So if I hit the button up the top, now it moves me into throttle. So I want to, doesn't matter which setting you do it in, but I want to set it to 5 R modes, so 5 different tunes. And then I want my throttle dual rate on, I want my throttle speed on, and I want my throttle curve on. So they're the main ones I want to be tuning from an R mode perspective. And I go back, and now I've got my R mode set up. The second part of this is picking between R modes or changing between R modes. And to do that, I use the throttle trim button on the side here. Sorry, not throttle trim, it's trim 4 is the button. So what I want to do is I go into, again, my system menu, go to key assignment, press this guy up the top here, that gets me to the next set of menus, and then I will find the button trim 4 and find R mode. I probably went the wrong way. There it is. And the other thing I like to do is set that to reverse. So that means as I pull this down, you might see it in the thing, I push this down, I've changed up an R mode. And I've changed up mode. So depending on how you like that button to work, I just feel that if you're pushing up, it doesn't sort of give me a feel like if I feel that's a better action. But each to their own. And that's it. So now I have an R mode and I have a button to change the R mode. Now what I want to do is change my R modes or change the tunes. And I want to be able to do that from one place. So if I go into my custom menu, so 2 quick clicks of the button, I've got all this other steering information. So from this page, I want to have my throttle stuff. So to do that, I go into my system again, and I'll create a custom list. And at the moment, I'm selected here on steering. I'll change that to throttle. And first one is dual rate H. So that's my forward dual rate. So if I want to limit my output, I can from there. The next thing I want to do is again change that to throttle, and I want to change that to my forward speed, and I want to use this one, throttle, as my speed, but in this case my curve or my point, beg your pardon. So that's my initial power hit, and again my throttle, and I want to use my curve. So this is my throttle curve, but I want to change it, instead of changing the type, I want this to show the rate. So that's the actual, that's going to change the curve, the function of the curve, not the actual type of curve. so type or rate. And the last thing I do is I use this as my throttle brake. So I can set the ESC to quite a relatively high brake, and then actually lower this number to control the strength of my brake. So now that's set. Now if I go 2 buttons, there I have all the tuning settings I want to use in the one quick easy page. So I also find that if you use the SW3 button, it brings that up as well. That's it. Now if I want to create a tune, so my R1, so my first tune or my bass tune, I may want to set that to 85% throttle out, and my forward speed, send the likes of negative. So depending on your car, your setup, you could start from 99 and end up at 94, depending on how you want to do it. Your point, which is your launch power, could be anywhere between 10 or 50, depending on what your car handles and your setup. And again, your curve rate, depending on how you want to set your car up, could be anything. And your brakes, I generally leave them the same on all settings. So this is only the settings for Rmode 1. So that's my tune number 1. Now again, if I go to my button down the bottom, you'll see here now these are all back to 100%. So this is my second tune, and while we're here, I might just change all of my brakes to 60, Rmode 3, Rmode 4, and Rmode 5. So the last thing you want to do is then go to Rmode 5 and then hit the brakes, and you've got 100% brakes. So there's my first tune, and now maybe for my second tune, I want to go to more power. Again, my dual rate, my forward speed. Going to make it a little bit more faster on the forward speed. A little bit more on my point. And a little bit more on my curve. So if I compare them between Rmode 1, 85, 98, 10 and 5, might go 15 on the point. So I could get to the track, start at Rmode 1, and I can then hit the trigger. I'm going to get tune 1. The next round I go, all right, cool, I can add more power. I'll go to tune 2, then I can go to tune 3, tune 4, tune 5. So depending on how you like to set up, you can have an easy tune and a harder tune as the days progress. A couple of things that catch me out, and you can see it there, this is just going straight to 100%. So it's kind of ignoring basically what I've done in the tune. So if I go to my settings, I press this button up the top here, so it goes to my throttle settings, and you'll see here it's picked up my dual rates. This one here is key. This one catches me out all the time. So if I set that to out, you'll see now the throttle is actually going to go and follow the throttle speed. If I set that to in, it's just instant power. So This has caught me out, and I've just gone bang, hit the throttle, and it's got 100% power. So you want to make sure we've got these set to out, and you have to do it in each arm mode. Now, so each arm mode is going to have that setting sort of configured. The other thing is, beg your pardon, go back to arm mode 1. You see here, slowly ramps up, only gets to 85%. Arm mode 2, it's going to hit a little harder and then ramp up a little bit faster and go a little bit higher. So they're the ways that I tune. And the other little thing that catches me out also is the speed curve. So that's got a rate of 10. And you can see if we increase that, that line's increasing. So as I pull the trigger, it's increasing that throttle curve. Now you got to be careful, as when you're doing that, you can flick between your reverse throttle curve and your forward throttle curve. So when I go into my custom menu, my curve, so if I push forward, it gives me 0. If I pull back, it gives me a curve rate of 10. So if you hit reverse, you're going to go in and change the reverse curve rate, not the forward curve rate. So what I do is I just make sure I pull the trigger a little bit. Can't really see in there. But that's making sure that I'm affecting the forward curve, not the reverse curve. Right, so that's how I set up the Sanwa to tune with. There's plenty of ways. I think there's a couple of videos out there from the likes of Mark Bine. These are some other things that you want to research and make sure you set up to how you want to run it. But every car is different, every combo is different, so that's just how I configure mine.